Hello, welcome to the first episode of Checkpoint Charlie. Today I'm here with
Jamie Mars.
And we're going to be discussing Charlie Kirk's assassination, the morality of it. So, just to get a basis, how do you feel in general about his death?
I feel like it shouldn't have happened the way it did. Alright? It was too fast, and it happened at the worst time possible. His daughter saw it, his wife saw it, it was in front of a college, so there was a bunch of young minds tortured by it. And on top of that, assassination is just wrong in general. I say let nature take its course, but that doesn't mean I like Charlie Kirk as a person, but I don't feel like he should have gone out the way he did.
Do you feel that there is any moral ground to be happy about his death?
Morally, if you're not thinking about it being assassination, if you're thinking about it just being who the person is, then I would sort of understand why people are happy, because he wasn't really the best person, and that's just my opinion, but he wasn't really the best. Very right-sided when it came to politics, if I have that right.
He was right. He was conservative.
All right, then very right-sided. He made a lot of bold statements, no shame or anything, but I still don't feel like he should have gone out like that.
Do you feel that maybe it's better he's gone, even if it's not okay that he is dead?
I feel like that just made it worse, because now this created a whole controversial war almost. Because there's the side that's rejoicing Charlie Kirk's death, then there's the side that's against the assassination. And I'm trying my hardest to be bipartisan, but now that Charlie Kirk's dead and he got out the way he did, now the media's divided. Now society's almost divided because it happened at such a
pivotal moment.
Yeah, such a pivotal moment, and happened in the most random but life-changing way possible.
And his sudden death, it gave fuel for a lot of conservatives in the government, especially Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth, to come out and try to attack who they deem responsible.
Yes, and I mean, I feel like it's really up to opinions, I guess. I can't really say what's right and what's wrong, but they did spark fuel for conservatives, and I feel like society in general really just took that as something to keep boasting about, like, oh, Charlie Kirk's dead, da-da-da-da. Like, I don't know what to say about that. I don't know what to say about those people.
Do you think that the people that are celebrating his death are putting a bad image on all leftists? Because there are many Democrats, such as Barack Obama and Joe Biden, who came out and said, we're sorry for his loss.
Well, yes, they are putting out a really bad image. That didn't even cross my mind. But they are putting out a really bad image because the conservatives can use that as, like, look at these people. Yeah, look at these people rejoicing in death in the most wrongful form. It's like, why would you do that to yourself? Honestly, why would you do that to yourself?
And it attacks a lot of groups who are vulnerable that also didn't have any involvement in the issue. There are a lot of media reporters that are trying to frame this on transgender people in any way, trying to find a link to the Democrats, trying to see any correlation to any movement. Right after Charlie Kirk's death, the organization Anti-Fascist Action, which is an extreme leftist group, came out, and after the assassination, Trump declared that it was a terrorist organization. Even though they're not really an organization, they're more of an ideology.
I feel like that was, like, self-brought. I don't think there was any need to start rejoicing and making it publicly known that you're so happy that Charlie Kirk died. No, I'm not saying you. How do I put it?
I'm not saying you're not entitled to your opinion.
Yeah, it's your opinion, but don't be so loud and public about it, because you kind of bring that on yourself, and it puts, like, your group or whatever in danger too. If I were to do that, I know this is taking a really hard turn, but if I were to do that, that'd put a target on black people in general, specifically black males. So, like, if some conservative were able to see something like that, and I was out there posting, like, yeah, Charlie Kirk's dead, that could bring up a whole new level on the Black Lives Matter movement. That could endanger black people all over again.
And And I agree with you on that as well. And if you move to the right as well, there's, the people in power who have their strong movements, but there's also the people that don't have any power and just support whatever the right has to say. There's a lot of people who identify as Republicans or conservatives that aren't very media literate, but they hear Trump saying, look at these Democrats, look at all these groups going after innocent people just using their free speech, and then it tells those people to start attacking Democrats and leftists as well. So it only stirs up more hate as well.
I feel like the biggest thing people need to do is try and be in the middle. Don't try to be so much on the one side that you start bringing trouble to yourself, because I'm not even that into politics like that, but I try my hardest with anything to be bipartisan, because I'm not trying to start anything and encourage anyone to do anything.
Yeah, and with some issues, it has to be bipartisan. There's either because both sides aren't taking a stand on it, or because it involves both sides. Charlie's death is a bipartisan issue. It affects everybody, and there are people all over the spectrum celebrating it, feeling sorry for it, not caring about it. And it just comes down to America having to come back to its roots and truly standing up for what's right. Regardless of how you viewed him, which I think a lot of people hated him, myself included, you have to stand up for what's right and say, hey, he didn't deserve to die. Not like that, and not in any way. And it's harmful for us as a society to be rejoicing in that. It's like cheering on the murder of another politician.
Yeah, and on top of that, you have to feel so sorry for his family too. I'm pretty sure last week, wasn't it? One of his daughters asked his wife, like, when is daddy coming home after the assassination? How do you tell that to a little? How old was she? But she had been really young.
I think she was in between like 2 and 5 years old. She was at that stage where she didn't understand that death is a thing and just when is daddy coming home.
How do you tell that to a little 5-year-old girl?
You can't. It shatters her and you.
His family must be going through so much trauma right now. You have to feel. I don't understand why people are rejoicing in his death. You got to think. What about the kids? What about the wife? What about all his relatives? What about? Bam.
And it does get a lot of people riled up thinking about that. And one thing that I also wanted to mention about this whole issue, bringing it back to whether or not it's bipartisan, I've seen a lot of leftists, a lot of Democrats on social media, especially TikTok, saying, well, he didn't care about school shootings and he didn't speak out about them. One of his most famous quotes is, in order to have the Second Amendment, people have to die. And I've heard a lot of people saying in defense, well, if he says that, I can have that viewpoint and feel bad for other people as well. But it's a direct contradiction and just blatant ignorance to your own morality to be sorry for one death and not another. What's going on all over the world, in Ukraine, in Palestine, school shootings across America, the shooting that happened hours after his death in Evergreen, Colorado, that it's all equally bad. Life is precious. We should not be taking it away, whether for skin color, whether for nationality, for political views, or just to be hateful. It's sacred.
Exactly.
And you can't describe yourself as a progressive and say you support his death, because progressives at their core believe of moving forward, not setting back. So all the Democrats and all the other people advocating for his death, and even the death of Donald Trump, you can't be a progressive. You can advocate for him going out of office. You can advocate for him being deposed or even imprisoned for the rest of his life, not death.
Mm-hmm. This also puts a really bad view on America, because, like, what happens if, I'm just throwing this out here, what happens if Japan or like Southeast Asia, what if they were to look into what's going on in America, and then they saw all of us fighting over whether to celebrate or be upset that someone died? And I feel like that's basic principle. How's that going to affect us in the future? How's that going to affect countries as potential allies in the future?
Exactly. Because in Nepal, their Capitol building was set on fire, and the former prime minister's wife died in that Capitol building fire. So when you look at countries who are experiencing anarchy or authoritarianism, there are a lot of UN leaders, especially after Trump's whole weird speech, comparing the United States to these authoritarian governments. I forget which country it was exactly, but one country who is strictly against NATO is saying or wait, no, it was South Korea. South Korea. They said that South Korea as a nation no longer sees America as a North American country. It sees it as a Southeast Asian country, the way it closely mirrors the corruption and the authoritarianism that those countries like show. And that's crazy. And that goes for everybody. It doesn't just go for Trump's administration, even though he is a majority of it. It goes for the reaction of the left. It goes for the response of the right. It goes for the inaction of the middle, because it's everyone. Being an American is being involved and deciding what happens to our country as a whole. Because whether or not people see it, voting matters. And showing your resolve, it can help the nation grow.
I see.
Sorry, I kind of rambled there.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Yeah, that just put my whole point into perspective. I mean, wow. We really need to start wearing the American... no, I'm about to sound so patriotic.
Hey, patriotism isn't a bad thing.
I know. But anyway, if we're gonna be raising the American flag and going, we're the land of the free, we need to start acting like it and stop being divided. We're supposed to be a unit.
The United States of America.
Exactly.
It's not just like, have you ever read Animal Farm by George Orwell? Mm-hmm. All animals are equal, but some are more equal
than others.
No. We're not going there. It's really just, and a lot of people are noticing the split already. The fact that we can now start to look at our nation and look at nations from the past, like 1940s Germany. I'm not saying that America is 1940s Germany. I'm saying that the fact that people can see correlation between the two is crazy, and it's concerning.
I know. You really gotta start. Yeah, you really gotta start thinking about what you're representing when you're going on social media. No, and that's just social media in general. Like
when you live your life, not just social media.
But yeah, that too. But I feel like social media is almost taken over, and the result of that, you'll say one thing and anything could get out. It'll spread like wildfire. So just like how quickly Charlie Kirk shooting was all over the news, all over TikTok, all over everything, within like minutes of it happening, it almost happened just as fast when opinions started going out, and the effect and the aftermath of the shooting. So I feel like you just got to be really careful about what it is that you're saying, what it is that you're representing, and keep your opinions to yourself, but you can't not have those opinions. That just makes you who you are, opinions. But you can have those opinions. I'm not saying, oh, you have to be this side or you have to be that side, or you're not allowed to have an opinion. But you need to be extremely careful about what it is that you're saying to your friends, what you're saying in society, what you're saying to everybody. Freedom
of speech, not freedom of consequence.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can believe whatever you want, but the minute you go out and start saying slurs to somebody or saying kill that person, there's going to be some consequences.
Yeah.
Well, do you have any final thoughts, Jay?
Nah.
I think that about wraps it up for Checkpoint Charlie. I appreciate you all for tuning in, and I will see you next episode.